I think it's a wonderful platform for coaches to talk and bring it to the attention of others. I think for most of us, we're all affected by it in one way or another, family, friends, people we know. So it's our job to spread the word. We're visible individuals, and so we want to spread the word. I personally was affected by it with my mother a few years back. So, you want to try to help others in ways or provide resources for others that, maybe not be able to have those things in place for them when they're struggling with the cancer disease.
I see you couldn't wait to get out of that suit, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't. I'm burning up in that thing.
Aaron, at the end here, when the kid grabbed him, you don't know where it's on here, on
Yeah.
the sideline, he went out of bounds.
Mhm.
The kid grabbed him even before he had the ball on our replay. And they didn't call a foul on that, right? I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I don't want to get into
No, I know.
that. I've looked more towards Damien, like to make sure he secure that ball, because that's all we talked about was just securing the ball and they have to foul.
Yeah.
I saw it myself. I was just hoping they called the foul.
The kid actually dragged him, and that's why
Yeah,
his momentum took
they missed a lot, and that's how games can get chippy when you let it go like that. We're okay with doing it. We're okay with playing like that, but you got to clean it up so it doesn't get to that point, especially at the end of games, because that's where guys get hurt.
Yeah, around that same time frame, Jamil looked pretty set, and they called a blocking foul on him, on Chiwa. From my angle, it looked like a charge. To see him get into that position, and have the defensive game that he had, I guess, how encouraging was that?
It's good. We just wanted to get him out and get him some run. See what it's like. Obviously, he's nowhere near the sort of shape that we need him to be in, but he'll get there. This was a step tonight.
Yesterday, when we were talking, you said Harris and Chiwa aren't going to be the ones to beat you guys tonight, and you guys executed that almost perfectly. What did that say about how you guys looked at the scout and executed the game plan in the floor?
If you look at the numbers, it would tell you that. They're the 1-2 punch for that team. When those two guys are successful, chances are that team is successful. So we wanted to get after Harris and put some size on him. The guys did a pretty good job. They did it by committee. All of the guys had a turn. We just wanted to try to wear him down. And Chi was always a little down there big, and he's gotten so much better, playing the game. So we wanted to touch him as much as possible, be physical, try to wear him out, make him have to guard him on the defensive side. So the guys did a pretty good job, and some of the other guys stepped up. They made some shots. Miguel and Chaplin and all of those guys who typically they're not knocked down three-point shooters, but they made some shots today. And that's what we're going to deal with as the conference play continue to progress. It's always these other guys that emerge outside of the main players emerge and making things happen.
You guys coming off beating Houston, they just beat UCF. That's their rivalry game. Was this almost a game of two teams that were like feeling real good about each other, about themselves, and this is what you get?
Well, I thought we were feeling too good about ourselves, and that's one thing that I'm worried about. We kind of was playing like we arrived, and we weren't playing with the force. We weren't playing with the attention to detail that I was like. We gave up. They just beat us to every loose ball, all the 50-50, all the little things. We didn't do it early on. And when stuff like that happens, teams get excited about playing. And so now you got a game in your hands. It's something that we're used to. All of our games have been close. Not to my liking, but they've been close. And again, we had an opportunity to stretch the lead out again, and boom, you look up, it's tied up again. 9 points, 10 points, whatever it was that we got out to a lead, and we fall asleep. They're right back in the game, and you go to overtime, and we were able to pull one out.
Aaron, that seems to be a theme throughout the season, and it's only so much a coaching staff can do to try to keep their guys, locked in. But what is it that you guys can do?
It stops. I think tonight we made a few shots, and we kind of held up on the defensive side. And I told him in the locker room after the game, we didn't get here because of offense. We didn't get here, so defense is what we're gonna hang our hat on. With some of the guys making shots, with Caleb making some shots, Nick giving us a shot in the arm. We just got to make sure we, understand that we got here because of our defense.
With Caliph, obviously he had one of his better games in a while, but can you talk about, he had 7 of the 9 points in overtime. He made that great pass to Nick for that, game-winning dunk it turned out to be. Can you just talk about his game today? Just he seemed a lot more confident and faster on the court today.
Yeah, he's doing what we need him to do. When his shot hasn't been falling the last few games, he made some today. He's been doing a good job defensively. Those sort of things don't show up in the stat sheet. If you look at Harris, tonight he did a lot of the heavy lifting against him. You look at Sasser, he did a lot of heavy lifting against Sasser, so that takes a lot out of you. When you got to chase those guys around as volume shooters, where they're going to have the ball in their hands a lot. And so tonight, he had one of his better games in a while offensively, but you're still going to need him to continue to be a playmaker for us, a shot maker for us, but also give us maximum effort on the defensive side.
Is it important for his sort of mindset or even the expectations that Caleb puts on himself to have a game where he hits the big shots at the end?
No, I mean, make the shots that you accustomed, typically will make. I don't want any of the guys to put pressure on themselves at the end of games, and feeling like they got to hit that. Again, something else I talked to them about. I don't need you guys to be home run hitters. We want to be singles hitters. So if you got 2 guys on you, the next man is open, swing it to him. And, but with a talent like him, with a talent like Dane, they get the freedom to take a few shots that are probably not quality shots because they have that ability.
And what was the conversation like with Caleb and Zach at half? They both had slow starts in the first half, and in the second half, they both come out and start seeing the ball and go. What was the conversation like with those two?
Pick it up, do more. I think for both of them, you don't. One of the hardest things to do is just come out and stand behind the line, and some guys can do it, stand behind the line all game long and shoot threes. But sometimes you got to get yourself involved, get out, transition, pitch it ahead to you, get a layup, go to the offensive glass, get an offensive rebound, get a putback. Something easy outside of just standing out, behind the 3-point line. And so that's what I said to her at halftime. You got to do more. You got to play with more urgency. With both of them, and they responded.
It seemed like tonight you guys ran motion sets more than any other game this season. What was it like to see your guys moving without the ball and sharing it tonight?
Well, they played a lot of zone in the second half. They went to some zone in the second half, which slowed us. So we want to try to move. I mean, when teams are playing man-to-man against us, we want to have the same sort of movement, but it doesn't happen like that all the time. But I thought they did a good job of moving the ball. We didn't always make the right decisions, but I thought we got some decent looks out of it.
You guys had, 3 guys with 7 rebounds. You had a lot of guys crashing the glass tonight with over 4 or 5 rebounds. That was a game plan, but they're a big guy averaging near double a game, and just what you've been preaching it all year about rebounding. Can you just talk about what you thought of that tonight?
I thought Core really, when we stalled, I thought Core gave us that lift that we needed. He was getting the second chance opportunities, getting offensive rebounds. He was doing a good job with that. I thought Nick's energy was pretty good on the offensive glass, and it's what they have to do. Nick, John, Core, Millie, Ema, all of our guys, Zach, he got to get in there. Those guys, that's part of their job and responsibility, and we just haven't been doing enough of it. I think we did it decent, but we need more.
Coach, it seemed that at the end of the first half and a lot of the second half, the team was driving to the hoop more instead of settling for jump shots. And then kind of later in the second half, I guess when they switched to a zone, it seemed like they were settling for more jump shots. Was that just because they were in the zone, or was that more of an adjustment on your end?
No, the game plan coming into every game is always attack the basket. I like to play inside out. Throw the ball inside, drive, touch the paint, kick it out. That's how you generate quality shots, and we settle. We settled for a lot of shots early on. I think you have to put pressure on the defense. I thought South Florida did a pretty good job of putting pressure on us by attacking. And that's how you get to the free throw line. That's how you get guys in foul trouble. That's how you control the game. So they know the game plan coming in. It's a matter of executing.
When you look at the energy that Nick and Corey have been giving you guys, like the anticipation that they have on their outside defense, for two guys, like for a roster to have two guys like that, it's very rare. So like, how much of an asset is it to have those two?
Well, it's, the buy-in is also important. When you preach, and it's one thing to talk about, I can sit in front of you guys and talk about it all the time, but it's another thing for those guys to buy into it and totally understand what's going to make us successful. And those two guys are buying into it, and I think they're starting to embrace it and really enjoy it. I mean, those are sparks. Those guys getting those block shots, boom, we get out, get in transition. Those are sparks. Those are the things that you need to energize your team, and they're doing a phenomenal job of that.
And Corey's confidence offensively, I think this might be the first time I saw him like hit a post move and attempt to hook. He missed it, but he looked confident going up with it.
Easy.
What's it been? I'm saying like his confidence to actually do it. What's it been like to see him start to develop?
Well, listen, for the record, I tell him, look, if you get it in the middle of the floor, you got somebody in the back, shoot it. Everybody else shooting the ball, shoot it. So it's not like I'm, coach must be telling him to pass the ball. No, shoot the ball. But he's giving of himself, and I like that. Everybody has to be giving of himself. And the one thing I say to him all the time: sometimes me, sometimes you, sometimes you, sometimes you. So we don't need one guy to be the star every night. But I appreciate what he brings to the table, his selfless acts and how he plays the game. It's what every team needs.
With turnovers, you had 10 turnovers in the first half. It seems like you guys, I know Hesir had 9 points in the first half, but it seems like you guys limited that, and Hesir wasn't losing the ball a lot in the second half. You just talked about, I know he didn't score in the second half, but you just talk about him, maturity, the second half, just controlling the basketball.
Yeah, I want him to manage the game. Manage the game, take care of the ball. Like, don't let the older guys, bully you, where they come in and hang out, give me the ball, man. You manage it. We'll get them the ball in their spots. Just manage the game. I thought he did a good job of that throughout. And, when I get him out of the game later on, I just thought we needed some size. I wanted to put some size on Harris, because I know he was just going to be putting the ball down and firing it up. And it's been working for him the last few games, so we wanted to slow him, find some sort of way to slow him down.
Shado's getting to a point where if he catches it 15 feet and then he's going to make something happen with it. What's it been like to see him? He was 3 for 3 tonight, had a couple buckets in the post, made some passes out of the post. What's it like to see him start getting to that point where if he posts up, he knows he can make something happen?
I'd rather see him shoot it than turn it over. So that was the problem. Him and Nick, I talked to them about that at halftime. I like the aggression. Take care of the ball. Both of those guys had 3 turnovers at halftime. So I like the aggression. So we just have to continue to get better with taking care of the ball. We can't dig holes for ourselves, but we also can't allow teams to just get out and get easy baskets, because I always feel comfortable with our set half-court defense. But when teams are, getting run-outs and getting layups, they get excited, and now you got to work a little bit harder. You got to stay away from that, especially early in the game.
Yeah, does it ever get old winning games at the free throw line? It's like 5-6 times.
I'll take it all year long if you tell me it's going to be a win and we're going to do it at the free throw line. But those are the little things. We make, they miss. We make, they miss. And those are the things, again, the little things we try to concentrate on, and that's what make champions and build champions. When you concentrate and you try to perfect doing the little things.
With Nick, you said, you talked about the shot in the yard, but you played him 38 minutes. Is that something you're proud of, that he can keep that high energy for that long? I know it's very hard to do, but the effort and the hustle for basically two full halves. Can you just talk about that?
We need his size and versatility out on the floor, and sometimes we got to play him at the 5, where he's got to play against guys that's bigger, but his foot speed helps us, especially getting out when we want to be aggressive and screen rolls, getting out. He can show, he can recover, he can get in there and play over the top of some guys. So his athleticism really helps us on that front. And on the offensive end, we can space him. He can be sort of a point center for us sometimes. So.